All right, game 4 and 5 here. So this is a completely different set, very different dynamic in this matchup than the Terry matchup. Um, Game 1 was a little weird. I'm gonna skip through a lot of stuff in this set. There's not too much to cover because I feel like in Game 2 you played the matchup way better. Um, it looked like you just needed time to adapt this game 1. But one thing that I will mention is that you get water gun a lot in this set, and you don't end up really using it that much. So there's one time that you do it. I think it's right here. Yeah, right there. So you do it, but then you don't really like walk forward or jump up high enough to really push your advantage state there. Switching to Ivysaur is fine. It works sometimes, but you didn't really go up there fast enough for you to take full advantage of using water gun there. But for the rest of the set, you get water gun and you don't really use it. So water gun's really good against projectile zoners, and it's also really good against characters that jump a lot. And Banjo kind of does both of these. He'll do like jump grenade, and that's like the perfect time to do it because water gun will either always put them like up and super high in the sky, or it'll put them off stage because of how strong it is, and it goes through most projectiles. So you can kind of just sit back in a mid range and then do it as soon as you see them do a projectile option, and then you just get a free advantage state. So you get water gun, you like always have it charged, but you don't really use it as much as you could. And that's there's not really that much else that happens in this game. Is just kind of weird. But I'm going to take this time to mention the thing you said about adapting to Wi-Fi as I skip through. And to be honest with you, there isn't really an amazing answer I have for you about about like adapting to Wi-Fi and, not being able to react. But I will say that you seem to be a Squirtle-oriented player. You just focus more on that character. And Squirtle on Wi-Fi is just objectively worse. There's just not as much time to react to things. The characters are pretty fast and requires you to make pretty split-second decisions, and that's just not as easy to do on Wi-Fi. So one thing that you could do is just play Ivysaur, but you have to play a lot more slow. You have to do a lot of Razor Leaf, just sitting there, throwing it at like a mid-range, just right at the end of the spacing where it'll start to pop up. So just like right at the end of that Razor Leaf distance is pretty safe. It depends on the matchup entirely, but generally just doing that a lot can be really easy to do better on Wi-Fi by doing that. And also, it's a pretty good strategy. It's a pretty good strategy offline too, as long as you develop the memory and the spacing for when it's good and when it's bad, when it can be punished, when you're doing it too much. So that's something to work on, I'd say, if you really want to like get a play style that works a lot better on Wi-Fi. Pretty much just the way to go about that is to just do a lot more Razor Leaf and try to figure out when it's safe and when it's not. Also, the thing I mentioned earlier about playing that like safe distance with Zard, like right at the end of F tilt and right at the end of back air, right there, that like play style, just doing that a lot more works really good on Wi-Fi. So yeah, for Squirtle, there's not really a solution. He's just kind of worse, which sucks, but it is what it is. So there's two main things that I really noticed here. So one thing is that it's a little later, but you drift in a lot off stage. I'm gonna try to find it here. It's right when you die here, I think. So you drift in a lot, like when you get hit off stage, and you have your double jump. You could just go straight down off stage, like just fall straight down here, and then once you go low, you just jump up B, and there's not really much Banjo can do to threaten that. But by doing this, you're unnecessarily putting yourself at a risk. You could just like charge water gun and drift backwards and get the same thing accomplished that you were gonna do, but in a much safer way. So you just don't always have to be drifting down. Also, throughout this set, there's more of what I mentioned earlier with you ledge trapping too aggressively. I'm skipping around a lot, but yeah, so as we get further into the set, it's a lot more of just stuff that I've already seen before and stuff that I've already mentioned. But yeah, the two main takeaways is that you're still doing that aggressive ledge trap when you could just be shielding, and especially you just need to drift more safely off stage, because that's something that, like, it's not even just like a situational thing. You just don't ever have to do it. You just could just always drift down and then up B low. Especially with Squirtle, since his up B hitbox kind of covers him really well when he's just coming from that diagonal area. So by doing up B or by drifting in above the stage, you're not even threatening up B. So even if you do an up B early to react to them jumping out to hit you, it would still put you at too much of a risk. Yeah, so generally you play this pretty good. You get hit by a lot of Wi-Fi Banjo things. Not much not much to say about that. It's just kind of happens. What I would like to see just for this one matchup is that a lot of the time he'll do Grenade in a place that's right next to you, and he doesn't really run with it. Like, he doesn't force an approach like right there. You have enough time to just jump and grab it. So I don't know if you have like the memory to, or not memory, but the tech skill to grab it, or if you're practiced with item play. But you can just right there, like if he does it in that situation, you can just take the egg, because it's not going to explode for another second or so. Like right there, he's going with it, so that's like a more risky place to grab it. But when he does it and then backs off, then you kind of just have free reign to just take it. I really don't think there's that much to say for the rest of this game. I like that Flare Blitz. That was a good way to get back. Kind of jumped off stage, just that you put yourself in that disadvantaged state. You could use that time to run to center stage. But yeah, that's it. Alright, that's the whole set.